Hey everybody, I'm Mark Walters with BigFanboy.com, and I am sitting here with now officially a horror icon, thanks to your award presentation today, Mr. Robert Englund. Now Robert, the first time I met you was back when Freddy vs. Jason came out. We were in San Diego, we were at the W Hotel, we were at the Beach Bar.
Oh my God, Elijah Wood.
Upstairs
in the cabana, surrounded by fucking hobbits.
Yeah, and they walked their tab, and you paid it.
I know.
And the reason I bring this up is because what I've sat here and watched all weekend at Fear Fest is your generosity and your kindness to all your fans. And I can honestly say I feel like you really genuinely appreciate the fact that these people love what you do.
Well, it's not only that, I was a fan, and I still am a fan. I mean, we can talk about horror movies that have slipped through the cracks in the last year that I love. Vera Farmiga's performance in Joshua.
Excellent.
We could talk about why didn't everybody in America stand in line for The Mist.
Mm-hmm.
But, so I'm a fan too. So I understand fans. But the thing that's fun for me is, I'm losing my voice. I've been doing the Freddy laugh for 48 hours. But the thing is that when I come to conventions, and I love to do the ones in Europe, but because of the internet now, more and more sophisticated memorabilia, not just merchandising and toys and action figures, is falling into the shows that I do here. And I love discovering this stuff. A guy came yesterday with all of the Japanese Nightmare on Elm Street premiere programs, and the paper and the artwork was great. I could have talked to that guy for an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I've met a guy in Europe recently who had a Latvian or an Estonian Nightmare on Elm Street original 1984 poster done in 3-color lithography. The only color on it was Heather Langenkamp's lips, and it was as if it was as if Nightmare on Elm Street was made in 1945 or something. I had $1,000 cash on the table. That guy still wouldn't sell it to me. And the only thing that kept me sane at that convention was I scored an original Belgian Jules Verne Disney 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea of the Nautilus.
Oh, beautiful.
And James Mason. You see, I'm a fan too. So it's real easy for me to give the love.
Yeah.
And I've been around long enough, and I've seen actors make mistakes, both genre actors and non-genre actors. You know, somebody leaving a show like Cheers, for instance, or somebody being worried about being typecast. And I know that many of them regret it. And I just embraced it with the 1-2 punch of V, which is sci-fi, and then the first Freddy, which took off while I was busy working on another show, and then I sort of experienced just how big it had become grassroots. That I have a great respect for the fans, and the fact that the first Nightmare on Elm Street was discovered by fans and was their movie. It wasn't a movie that was hyped to them. I've sort of been part of that experience all along.
Yeah. I'm curious, you say you're a fan. Your favorite horror movie of all time?
Well, my favorite horror movie is constantly changing. For a long time, it was The Innocents with Deborah Kerr. For a while, it was May, the Lucky McKee film, because then it just freshened everything up. For a while, it was John Carpenter's The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly kind of bopping around. I think one that's really hung on for a long time for me, and it may be the performance of William Findlay. It may be the direction of De Palma, but Sisters, which I understand is being remade by Brian De Palma.
Mm-hmm.
Best use of split screen to tell a story I've ever seen. Margot Kidder is phenomenal in it. The use of microfilm as a storytelling device. Here's how you guard a door: you stand on the outside.
We're in the middle of an interview here.
Stand on the outside.
For God's sakes.
But the use of microfilm,
Yeah.
that was just remarkable to me as well. And so I think that Sisters has kind of hung on over the years. And then there's those childhood memories, Forbidden Planet, Horrors of the Black Museum, images that haunted me. I mean, I drew Kong shaking the sailors off the log into the ravine from the original King Kong over and over and over again during the entire 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
I sat by a kid who was a phenomenal artist who was drawing Gregory Peck strapped to the sounding Moby Dick by the leashes of the harpoon lines, over and over and over again. So it really captured my imagination. My wife, who's behind the camera right now, would tell you that
Lovely
I spent
Nancy.
a small fortune on the original Japanese Robbie the Robot toy, which is in my office. I mean, I do have a capacity for remembering what I felt like in that 55-cent matinee, the first time I sat there with my melting Chico bonbons and saw the guy come up to Leslie Nielsen and say, "Where's the cook? Where's the cook?" And he said, "Splattered all over the gallery." In Forbidden Planet. And that was like my idea of gruesome. I can remember arguing between plots of what Twilight Zones meant, arguing about what the creature was, the monster of the id in Forbidden Planet, until we watched it 10 times, with our allowance, and realized it was the saber-toothed tiger, outlined in lightning flames, early special effects. I can remember, 7 Voyages of Sinbad.
Yeah.
And just loving the Homunculus and the Cyclops by Ray Harryhausen.
Ray
So
Harryhausen.
I was a fan too,
Yeah.
just like Mark Hamill. We should get Mark Hamill on and talk. Mark Hamill has letters to the editor in Famous Monsters magazine.
That's great. Well, listen, I know we got to go. Real quickly, I just want to plug, you've got a sequel to 2001 Maniacs coming up.
I got to make that.
Yeah, and then you've got another
Tim's getting the financing together, and we're working on the comic book. We'll probably shoot that at the end of summer.
Right. And then there's another film you were talking about shooting over.
I am pre-production right now on the Vig
Right.
in Italy. I believe we're going to use Sir Christopher Lee as the father in it. Yeah,
Perfect pairing.
maybe the cinematographer of The Orphanage.
I'll buy the first ticket.
Yeah.
Thanks, Robert.
All right.
I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so much.